This is my brother's current keyboard. It's a Corsair K70 Mark II, and as you can see, apart from the fact that it's dusty and pretty gross, it's missing the W keycap, because it's quite literally broken. But instead of replacing the broken keycap with a different one from the numpad or asking me for spares, he instead asked if he could try out a custom keyboard. So I've lent him my GMMK TKL to use in the meantime. That was 6 months ago. By letting him use one of my keyboards, in doing so I got him into customs, and now he won't use a pre-built or unlubed switches. I want my keyboard back, so that leaves me with only one option. Building him his own custom keyboard with a little help from the screwdriver that Banggood sent to me. Why is this important? Let's talk about it. But first, I want to let you guys know that I now have a Discord server. If you want to chat with other enthusiasts, show off your board, or you want to ask me some questions, check it out in the description below. At 50 members, I'll let you guys pick the switch I use in my next keyboard build through a text channel found exclusively on the server. Back to the build. So for this build, I'll be using the Feker IK75 that I reviewed in a previous video. And in that video, I said this: the screws are installed very tightly and I can't unscrew them. This has been an issue for me ever since I started reviewing. And although Banggood has sent out a wow stick for me to use, it hasn't arrived yet. Don't worry, I'll be modding this keyboard in a future video once the wow stick comes in. So you might be wondering, what is a wow stick? Well, it's an electric screwdriver that pretty much every content creator owns. I mean, are you really a keyboard creator if you don't have a wow stick? So Banggood sent this over so I can properly mod the IK75 since I've always struggled with unscrewing keyboards, but this video is not sponsored anyway. They didn't get to see this video before it went live, and all thoughts I have about the product are my own. I told my brother to pick out the switches and keycaps, so he chose a Gateron Black Ink V2s. These have been lubed with THOCK 205 grade 0 on the bottom housings, stems, and springs. The keycaps are the XY Kitty keycaps that he got from Drop. These are PBT cherry profile dip dyed keycaps, whatever that means, and my brother really liked the colorway. And for the last part of the build, to tie it all together, CableMod reached out to me and let me configure some custom keyboard cables, and my brother ended up making this black and purple coiled cable with a slimline connector. So with all the parts in place, let's get on to the build. So the first thing I'm going to do is disassemble the IK75 so I can finally mod the stabs and change out the plate. I highly recommend getting a set of prying tools for this, because this is insanely difficult to do with just some plastic cards I have lying around. Once the clips are unclipped, you can separate the housings and unplug the two batteries. Now that the PCB and plate are isolated, this is where I can finally unscrew everything using the wow stick. This is actually a game changer, and if I knew that it was this good, I would have bought one myself. Once the plate is unscrewed, I can remove the stabs, and because I know that these stabs are going to be used for a long time, I want to get rid of the rattle and tick for as long as possible, so I'll be cleaning the factory lube using soapy water, and once those are dry, I'll Holee-Mod the housings, then I'll lube the stabs with THOCK 205 grade 0. Instead of using the steel plate, I'm going to change it for the included polycarbonate plate instead. This won't bring any flex to the board since the IK75 has a very stiff typing feel because of the way the gaskets are implemented, but the change in plate will at least soften the bottom out. I'll also cut the plate foam to allow for a spacebar to be removed easily without disassembling the whole board, just in case I need to retune them in the future. I'll screw the plate and PCB back together with the plate foam, and I'll keep the foam that surrounds the hot swap sockets on, but before I put it back into the case, I'm going to tape mod the PCB with 3 layers just to deepen the sound signature. After cutting holes for the batteries to plug in and the Bluetooth switch, I'll put the PCB and plate back into the bottom housing with the case foams, but because the socket foam and case foam are so thin, I don't think they'll be doing much. Once the case is reassembled, I can add all the switches and stabilizers in, then it's just a matter of putting the keycaps on to finish the build. Plugging in the coiled cable really ties everything together, even though the purple of the cable and yellowish legends on the keycaps don't fully complement each other. Here's a quick sound test of the finished build, and if you're interested, there will be a full sound test at the end of the video. This build ended up exactly how I wanted it to be. I wanted to build a keyboard that had a deep thocky sound signature and a pretty soft bottom out, and I think this build does just that. You can probably hear in that sound test that there's interference in R2 and R3, and although the R3 interference is expected because the black inks aren't long pole and the keycaps are cherry profile, but I'm not too sure why R2 has interference. Either way, I'm going to be modding those 2 rows using the paper mod, which I found at Cavite Tech's channel if you want to check him out. I highly recommend his content. All you have to do is press a tiny cut of paper into the stem hole of the keycaps to emulate a long pole switch. I did this with 3 pieces of paper per keycap on R2 and 1 piece for R3, and it worked like a charm. Let's see how it sounds now. Now that the build is finally finished, I want to see what my brother thought of the build as he types on it for the very first time. How is it?
It's good. It's really good. It's really good. It sounds nice. It's like, compared to this is loud. This is very quiet, and I like quiet. Overall, I'm happy. I'm pleased. I can't stop pressing it. But, where's the cable?
So he's happy because he got a new keyboard. I'm happy because I finally got my GMMK TKL back. It's a win-win situation overall. As you're gonna hear in the sound test, the stabs sound and feel very mushy, but also super scratchy and rough. The mushiness comes from the Holee-Mod and that will break in over time, but the scratchiness comes from the stock stab plastic just feeling super coarse to the touch. He's already got some THOCK plate mounts on the way, so that'll be fixed soon enough. Let me know what you think of this build over in the comments below or over at my Discord server. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel. It really helps me out. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.